Hello everybody! Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I would like to start by disclaiming that I lied. And I am not making a room for your OC, I'm making a room for my OC. But I'm going to be showing you how you can make a room for your OC, okay? We're going to be using Sketchup. This isn't sponsored or anything. I'm going to be doing this in Sketchup though because as much as I love The Sims, sometimes I want to put more than just cologne on the dresser. And, I need a little bit more freedom. So I like SketchUp because you can modify stuff and add however much nonsense you want to your cabinets. But I know that there is a bit of a learning curve, especially if you've not done anything 3D modeling before, which is why I'm making this video. So this isn't just going to be how to make a room, I will also be talking about my OC who I'm making this room for. So if you need just background noise for drawing or while you're making your own room, keep me around, watch my video. Yeah! I will be putting timestamps just in case you don't care about the tutorial and just want some background noise, or if you don't care about me yapping and just want the tutorial, so you can be able to jump around wherever. So, let's get into it! This is going to be using SketchUp. Specifically, we're going to be using SketchUp on the computer. If you don't have a computer, I don't know if this will work on phone or tablet, but you can try. To get to here, you're not going to look up just SketchUp, you're going to look up SketchUp app. Right? And then this is what you're gonna want to see. Yay, awesome! If this is your first time going, you're gonna need to create a new Trimble ID, make sure you fill out all this stuff, and do the thing where you read the terms and conditions. You know that thing? I'm going to sign in because I already have an account. Now we're on our home page, right? Awesome, awesome! And we are going to create new. First thing you'll notice, this guy is here. He's there for scale. He's like the banana for scale. Kill him. So, yeah, just select him, hit delete. I recommend having a mouse for this. If you don't, you can get by though. So if you don't have a mouse anywhere and you're like, oh, no, I can't make my OC a room. Yes, you can. Guys, do you think the microphone can hear my chair squeaking? I hope not. Anyways, if you don't have a mouse, you can still make it because, you have the power of love or something. First, control. This one is the same as everywhere else. Zoom in, zoom out using your scroll bar. Now, we're going to use the scroll bar again, but this time you're going to click on it, right? This will make it so that you can rotate around, sort of pan the camera around, right? Which is awesome. Then, the very last one that you guys are going to want to know is you're going to hit Shift and then you're going to click on the scroll bar again. So you're hitting Shift and you're clicking on the scroll bar, and now you can drag the camera around and pan like that. So we've got click on the scroll bar, scroll in and out, and then Shift plus click on the scroll bar. And now you can move and see and whatever else. For those of you that don't have a mouse, this tool right here, you've got your pan tool, you click on that, you can drag it around. Here you've got your orbit tool, that's the word for it. And now you can orbit, which, you know how last time if you click on the thing, it orbits, and then if you hit shift click, it pans? You can do that here too. So here we have orbit, you hit shift, and now you can pan. And then zoom in and out, you can do the mousepad thing, where you pinch and unpinch. That still works here. So, okay. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's start with rooms. So, couple different ways that you could do this. First of all, one reason I love SketchUp so much is because it has this right here. It's a 3D warehouse. The terms and conditions will tell you the rules for how you can and cannot use the warehouse, but generally if you're not making any money off of it, don't worry about it. 3D warehouse, right? So for the 3D warehouse, you can find a bunch of stuff. If you look up room, you can find a room. Isn't that awesome, guys? This world is incredible. But me personally, I'm going to be starting from scratch. But if you don't want to make a generally room-shaped room, then you can download one off of here. I'm going to tell you the hard way now. So we're going to go to here, this rectangle tool. I like to start at the origin, but it doesn't really matter because that feels more room. Now that we have this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this. This is the push and pull. This will pull our surface upwards. If you're turning something that is 2D into 3D, then it will leave a plane here at the bottom. Because see, look, it won't do that now, because this is already 3D, and I can move this back and forth, which is good for adjusting it. Now I've gone back to the select tool. What I'm gonna do now is I'm going to hit hide so that I can see on the inside. Yay! So now we've got, well, a square, but we are going to put stuff in the square. So this room is going to be for my character Sammy. And I'm going to start by getting him a bed. I'm going to browse for a second. They have all these fancy dancy ones, but to be honest with you guys, I think that will just be mean to my computer. So I'm not gonna get that. A lot of these would be mean to my computer. This one would be so mean to my computer, and I say that because generally, everything in 3D modeling is made out of triangles, but in order to make a, like, sphere or, like, a pillow out of triangles, you need a lot of tiny little triangles. So the more round something is, the more upset your computer will be. Girl bed. Okay. A lot of this 3D stuff, yes, it gives you a warning. Circles sometimes just don't look good, and the more, like, folds something has, the more difficult it will be for it to look good, and that's just the nature of how 3D works. This just is not necessarily the same to me as, like, something that I can just draw in. And I'll be showing you guys post-production stuff that I do as well, in case you guys also want to throw a couple of filters on and draw some extra stuff in. I like this one. I like this one, and it doesn't look like too crazy of a model. Dude, either he's got the Room of Champions, or he is 5. Okay, I'm supposed to be explaining things. Okay, I'm sorry. Once you've imported your object, in order to move it around, you're going to want to use the Move tool, which is this plus sign that's on the left-hand toolbar. When I move stuff around, I like to grab by these corners. You don't have to. Like, I could just move it around like this, but then if I were to, like, try and line it up perfectly, it's a little bit more difficult than if I just drag the corner here, because then I can be like, oh, put it there, and it'll have, like, the auto lock things, which I like. So I'm gonna put it on the edge here, and then this right here is the scale tool. If you want to do the PowerPoint presentation thing where your stuff gets all freaky and vertical, then you can grab this one. Most of the time things are pretty well proportioned, so I just like to grab a corner. Okay, now, I don't know about you guys, but to me, this texture is horrendous, and I don't know what's going on with these metal drawers. So we are going to change that. So I right click, and then I hit edit component. So components, right? Anything you get off of the 3D warehouse will come in as a component. You can make things component. Let me show you guys first what it means to be a component. So if I were to move this around, you know, it takes the whole shape with it, right? Because all of this is touching, right? It's connected, it's glued on to each other. So if I move this, you know, I'm moving the whole thing along with it. However, if I was to make this a component, now if I were to move this, the rest of the object stays. Because the way I like to imagine it is if it's not a component, it's sticky. And if it's sticky, it'll glue onto itself. But if you make it a component, now it's not sticky anymore, and it can go wherever it wants. So I don't necessarily need this wall to move individually from the rest, so I'm going to unmake it a component, which is to say I'm going to explode it. Okay. And I hid the bed there. Let me show you guys how to unhide it. We're going to go to this eyeglasses button right here, the display button. Couple options, I can unhide all, but you know, that would bring my roof back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unhide last to just bring the bed back. If you have a ton of stuff hidden, let me hide this again, and you only want to unhide one, but it was like unhidden a while ago, what you can do is you can turn this on so you can see hidden objects. Then you can select it, right click, unhide, and then if it's, say, something like this where it's not an object, you can say hidden geometry, right click, unhide. I don't need either of those, so I'm just going to do that. Now that we've gotten into what a component is, let's edit our component, right? So I'm going to go into edit component. I don't want to explode it because I like it not being sticky. I am going to go here, so you'll see it's got this line right here. I don't really like it. It doesn't it doesn't really matter because I'm just gonna draw over it anyways. Best move is to hide this. So I don't like this whatever red sparkly thing they've got going on here. None of this matters too much, because ultimately I am just going to draw stuff anyways. but I like to do a lot of stuff that doesn't really matter, don't I? For this next group of lines, I'm gonna soften and smooth them to make them nice and rounded. To do this, you just right click and then hit soften and smooth, and then you turn your dials and edit your settings. These ones I should be able to soften smooth. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, see? And you know, it's got the texture on it, so it's still going to be a little bit weird, but it's not what it was before. We are going to dye all of these a different color. Immediately pressing on the paint button will open your materials tab, but you know, if it's not open, this right here is your materials tab. So there's a bunch of preset ones that are already on here. If you go here, you know, you've got 3D printing, asphalt, brick, colors. There's some fabrics too. Yeah, and textiles. What does this look like? I don't like that at all. A lot of these, you know, are pretty nice, but a lot of the colors I found are very much saturated. So what I like to do is I like to open this 3D warehouse. This is the same thing as this up here, but you want textures instead. So this will give you a bunch of materials. I'm thinking of like a nice orange or something for the sheets. I just look up orange and it's going to automatically take you to the models tab because it's, you know, silly. You're going to go here to materials and then we are going to browse. I kind of like this orange. It might be too bright and okay, it's a little much. Okay, that is the same color. What about this one? I'm not liking this, guys. Okay, hold up. If you see this line across it right here, it means it's probably transparent. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's transparent. Just something to look out for. So this right here is the eraser. If I were to go like this, it would kill it, which this time it doesn't matter, but if I were to like take that one, it would take out the whole shape. The reason for that is because this plane and that plane just have like something between them, whereas that line, it's a load-bearing line, is the best way I can think of describing it. But if you don't want to like erase the line, but you still want it to go away, you can hit Shift, and this will just hide lines from you. And then another thing you can do with this fill tool, I love the Shift key. If you do this, it'll dye like everything, and it's a bit of a risk because sometimes it dyes too much of everything. I've got my line tool here to draw lines with. Can you believe it? With the line tool? I'm gonna start on this endpoint here, click it, and you'll notice, you know, I can draw wherever, but when I draw right here, the line turns red. This is what I want, because I want it to be perfectly going straight across. So one thing you can do if like it's going to be finicky and fight with you is you can hit Shift. So it's moving wherever, the line turns red, I hit Shift, now it will only move on the red axis, which is what I want. And all of this is just so that I could push and pull it, because like if I don't have this, you know, then this is one plane and the whole thing has to move. But if I do have this, then I can just move this part, which is what I want, so that I can make a nice little base. So I select this, right? And if I want it to be the same length as this one, what I'm going to do is after I select it, I'm going to click here. This midpoint works, this face works, anything works, because then it's going to extrude it to the same amount of distance as the other one was extruded. There might be a way to make this perfectly symmetrical. Like for example, if I were to do like a crisscross line situation. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna make this nice. Basically, I put that there, and I go from one corner to another, and then I go from one corner to another. This is just so that it'll be perfect centered, horizontally at least. And now we are going to make a center rectangle. Okay, we take our rectangle tool, and do you see how the little dot is on the corner right now? If you hit Control, now the dot is in the center, and so basically this just means that it's going to start your rectangle in the center, and if you want it to change back to corner rectangles, all you have to do is hit Control again. Guys, I 100% could have found a bed frame that just already has this, but I didn't do that, did I? One thing I can do is, if it's doing this, where she is misbehavior, I like to select an edge, and then it'll move on edge, which means that it'll go perfectly straight upwards, which is what I want it to do. Wait, she's kind of looking cuted. She's kind of... Okay, well, Okay, if you're sitting there going, she's literally not cuted, first of all, I'm killing you with a gun. I am going to select the top part of this, and it's going to behavior this time, because I am going to uniform scale, and you see how it's closing down towards that corner? I don't want it to do that, I want it to be centered, so I'm going to hit shift, and it's going to get funky with me, so that's obviously not the button. I'm going to try control, and control is the button. Wow, whoever made this model did not have... Wait, I think that was me. I think I did that, actually, guys. I take back my slander. I take back my slander. I think I'm the one that messed up this model. And now I'm going to show you guys something so silly that is sometimes very useful. So I'm going to edit component, right? And then I'm going to take this, and I want to bring her in, right? So that it's closer to this, right? Now, important note. It didn't look like this before, but now it looks like this, right? Dude, look what she's doing. Copycat! We've got a copycat in the house! So here's the thing. Anything you do to one object, if I copy this component, put it over there, whatever I do to this one will also do to the other one. That's just the way that it works. Now let's say you're in a situation like this, and you don't want it to do that. First of all, if you're just editing it like this without like editing the component itself, it won't copy paste it and do whatever. But if you like need it to not do that, what you can do, you right click, you say make unique. Now that it's unique, it will no longer do that. Okay, I can't believe I haven't gone over this yet. This is the rotate tool. So for this one, there's a couple different ways you can do it. So first way, you can do a face and then extend, this is your arm, and then it'll rotate about that face. Personally, I don't like doing that because most of the time when I'm rotating something, I'm like, rotate about, you know, the center of yourself. So in order to do that, basically what you're going to do, you can hover over these, and these will rotate it about whatever plane you're on. You can also do this with the move tool, is you can just rotate it. The other way I find is more helpful if you're doing like doors and stuff, and like you're like, oh, I really wish this would rotate about a hinge. Because otherwise I tend to get a little bit frustrated using that one. Okay, I thought that this was the perfect time to finally, you know, talk about my character who I'm making a room for right now. So I figured that now is the best time that I could finally introduce y'all to Samuel. Unless me from the past has anything important to say, let's check in real quick. Gang. Gang, 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 gang. Gnarly. Gnarly. Everything's gnarly. What do beds look like? Hold up. Okay, I think we are covered on that front, so I'll go ahead and get into it. So Sam, how do I describe him? In terms of personality, I think he's the type of guy that needs to get a job. I'd say he's probably like a dreamer, a romanticizer. I think he's the type of person that would like pull up to a stoplight and the guy in the other lane has the exact same car as him, so he rolls down his window and he's like, same car! And the guy is like, ah, yeah. And then the light turns green and then the guy drives away. And then like Sam would tell people like, yeah, and that could mean nothing. Or, and like, I just, that's the type of guy that I think that he is. But yeah, he also, my little story that he's in is a little superhero story, and he of course is a supervillain. His alter ego is called Steel. That's his little drag persona. But yeah, he is the main antagonist in my story. I hesitate to say that he's like the main villain, which I know is ironic because he's literally a supervillain. But okay, I hesitate to call him the main villain because ultimately, like, he's just some guy. He's just some guy who's like bisexual and kind of annoying. You know, like there's billionaires out there. You know what I mean? Like, how evil is he if there's billionaires out there? Like, I feel like there's bigger problems, you know? And also, I feel like he's not even that good at being, like, a villain. He doesn't even have a good criminal mindset. You know what I mean? He's the type of guy that would see someone drop their wallet, and then he'd be like, oh, hey, you dropped your wallet. He doesn't have the instinct. He needs to go back to evil school and train a bit harder, okay? Because his first instinct is like, oh no, I hope they get their wallet back. It would suck if they lost it. Girl, you're a villain. And that's the main reason why his friends, who are much better criminals than him, only recently started inviting him out to the heist, you know? But he is very antagonistic, okay? I would not hesitate to call him the main antagonist of the story, because he does be antagonizing, specifically Feather, who he has declared as his nemesis. He kind of commits crimes just to get her attention. Okay, imagine this with me, okay? We're both gonna imagine something, okay? Imagine this with me. So he's at the bank, right? He's got everyone held hostage, you know, he's doing like his proper like villain thing, you know? But like Feather just like is taking like a little bit too long. Like it's been like 5 minutes and he's getting impatient. He's like, man, is she here yet? It's taking her forever. Like the bank teller's like, do you have a like bag or something? Normally people are like, oh, put the money in the bag, but you didn't even bring a bag. And he's like, no, I don't have a bag. Don't you have any back there? Do you even press the button yet? Like, why is she not here yet? Like, like he's climbing over the counter just to press the button for them so that she shows up quicker. And she's so sick of him. She's so sick of him. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people that wouldn't gaff. There's a lot of people that'd be pretty id-gaff in this situation, but not Feather. Feather gaff. Okay? Because here's the thing about Steel. He's causing disturbances, he's making a scene, you know, he's a problem. But eventually, like, the whole city, everyone realizes, they're like, he's not even, like, killing anyone. He's just kind of half-heartedly robbing people and, like, Fortune 500 companies. So, like, a lot of people, like, don't even yare. You know? They don't even yare. Not Feather, though. You might be like, why is he after her anyway? Like, what's his deal? Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit of backstory. Twist my arm! Twist my arm! If you insist, I'll tell you a little bit of backstory. Basically, his dad sucks. Yeah, I know. I'm like the first person to come up with that concept of OC lore. Yeah, nobody else's OC that they came up with has a dad that sucks. Okay, just mine! But basically, he had a lot of expectations on him that he simply was not the guy for. Like, his dad wanted him to be Mr. Athletics, super strong, #1 in his field, but unfortunately he was not Mr. Athletics. He was Mr. Little Gay Boy with weak bones, okay? And so, like, flash forward a little bit, you know, after splitting paths with his father, like, his friends are like, dog, it's not your fault. Like, his expectations were ridiculous. You're not gonna look like Johnny Bravo. You literally had untreated Crohn's. Like, nobody could have met his expectations in your shoes, right? So Feather literally is everything that he ever wanted to be. Well, I say he. His dad ever wanted him to be, like, and more. Although I do think that Sam is the type of guy to be like, oh yeah, I wanted that, you know? I wanted to be all of these things that my dad wanted me to be, and it's like, no, Shoddy. No, Shoddy, you were just 12. But anyways, Feather is literally, like, everything he ever wanted to be, and more. She's the #1 hero in this city, undefeated. She's super strong, she can literally fly. And so he's sort of like, he's in a crisis. He's like, it's so Jover, my life is done. Like, what can I even do now? And see, this is an audience vote. Okay. Should he, A, continue living his life and find his own passions, because who even cares what his terrible dad wanted? His dad sucked. B, confront his father and try to get some justice and consolation for all the terrible stuff he was put through, okay? Or should he, C, antagonize the person that he deemed to be the physical manifestation of all of his inadequacies, because it's easier than actually facing his father and his own insecurities, even though this won't actually help him in any way that's meaningful, and it also harms another person in the process. I bet you can't guess which one. I bet you can't guess. Vote down in the comments below, guys. He basically decides that if he can beat Feather, then it proves that, like, he is above the expectations. Like, he could have done it, he could have exceeded the expectations, because Feather meets the expectations, and if he can beat her, that makes him one better. But, you know, the thing is I feel like if there was other people in Feather's shoes, like, there's a chance that they would not gaff, you know? Like, if you're somebody who really enjoys a challenge. You know, you like being challenged at work. You don't like things getting boring, or people who don't take stuff too personally, or even like people who are physically capable of going, well, this really sucks, but my worth is not measured by the amount of annoying he/theys I'm successfully able to arrest. But unfortunately, none of those people are Feather. This video it's not even about her, but I love Feather, so I'm gonna talk about it anyways. And there's nothing you can do to stop me except for clicking off of the video, I suppose, but you should not do that, because this video is pretty awesome, and so you should watch it. Anyways, so her real name is Aaliyah. I already made her room, so I can't really show you guys the process for that one. She's the main character. To describe her, she's a little odd, perhaps. She loves her Tumblr.com. Okay, if she's gonna be anywhere, she's gonna be on Tumblr.com, okay? But she was homeschooled up until junior high because of her powers, yes, because it's superhero, and so she's got her powers. But yeah, she was homeschooled up until junior high, and she was so excited to go to her first day of public school, okay? She was gonna make so many new friends. She brought her ukulele. She knows that, like, she probably won't use it, but just in case somebody wants to sing Riptide with her, it's better to have it than to not have it, you know? And she probably, you know, she's got a little flower crown, like, she's so excited, like, she's just trying to have a Carcalicious 2009, okay? And then she goes to school and they're mean to her! No one wants to sing Riptide with her, they think her flower crown is weird, and no one she talked to even knew about Danganronpa! But you know who isn't mean to her? That's right. The people that she saves when she saves them is a hero and all that. Yeah, I wrote that in the script. That's what it says. That's crazy. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that she gets a lot of validation from being a hero. She starts really young, I think around like 13 or 14. And people love her. You know, as a hero, people love her. She's really good at her job. So people are like, hey, that's pretty awesome even. And so she's like, okay, well, I just had the best idea ever. I'm just gonna put all of my eggs into this basket, and just this one, and I'm going to continue being the undefeated #1 hero in the city, and nothing bad is ever gonna happen. But yeah, that's like the basis of the comic I'm working on. I love them so much, they are literally the sillies. Why don't we go ahead and check back in on what I was saying while I was recording this tutorial? Anyways, I don't think that I deserve to be called misinformation. When I wasn't trying to misinform them of anything, they were just confusing me, and I got lost while I was trying to explain stuff to them, and then they're like, dude, you're lying to us, you're lying, and I was like, no, I'm not lying to you, I'm literally not lying to you. But, you know, to be fair, there was other times where I did misinform them of stuff. On purpose, too. Like, I love April Fool's Day. I told all of them, I was like, guys, are you guys ready for the exam in Rikashushi's? Did you study? It's gonna be a tough one. And they were like, and just kidding. They were like, you're not fooling me. Cause, okay, cause at that point I had already been misinformation for like a year. So they were on to me. We have a bed. I'm 2 hours in and I have a bed that I could have downloaded. Oh! I think I'm so funny. I think that I am so funny, dude. Do you guys see my vision? Does this look okay? It looks fine. It looks fine. It looks fine. Okay. I'm gonna give him a record player because he is annoying about music. This one's good. I like this one. Importing large model. Not by the time I'm done with it. Not by the time I'm done with it. So let's take a look. Wiener Waltzer? Strauss? Hold up. Since when did Strauss have a Wiener Waltzer? Wiener Waltzer? By Johann Strauss? Strauss didn't have a Wiener Waltzer. Hold up. Oh, like people from Vienna. And who's over here? Oh, Jimi Hendrix. Shout out Jimi Hendrix. David Bowie! Dude, I was gonna have David Bowie in here anyways. Dude, I don't think he's listened to all of these. I think that he has them. I don't think he's listened to like half of these. I think he like went to an estate sale, got a ton of them, but like at most he's listening to these 3. Well, these are cool though. These are really cool. Get out of here. This is why it's a large model. This is where all the polygons are coming from, dude. Okay, I might need those knobs, actually. POV, I'm British and my friends are kind of jerks, but you know, I still need them around. Dude, he's got more speakers down there. Greedy. And more Pink Floyd. I do think he probably would like Pink Floyd. He would like Pink Floyd, he'd like Fleetwood Mac. I think he'd like the Beatles. But he's also like, he's like the most surface level of I just heard this song, you guys probably haven't heard of it. Yeah, it's by a band, they're pretty underground, they're called Pink Floyd. They're kind of old, so you guys probably don't know about them. Oh, Sam. Oh, he's so annoying. I love him so much. Because that's the thing, is he's annoying about music, but he's not like rightfully. He's not like rightfully annoying about music. Like he has no reason to be, because he's not listening to full albums. He's pulling stuff up on music streaming services. Like he's got this whole setup, but like it's 90% for show. And listen, if you have a record player and a ton of records that you have not listened to just sitting on your desk, you are not annoying because you're not Sam, okay? You don't get it. You don't get it because you're doing it and you're doing it in a cool indie way, and that's fine. Okay, he's doing it in an annoying way. The rugs aren't very good on SketchUp either, but you know, I can imagine every time. This is pretty, but I don't see him as being like a Persian rug kind of guy. I do see him having this, you know, something fun and indie. Yeah, I can give him the stupid large model. It's a rectangle. What? How is your rug a large model? That's insane. What do you mean? A large model, it's a rectangle. It should be a nearly flat rectangle. It's a rug. That's so funny. I might do this one. Large, it's a rug. Are you making like each fiber? What are you doing? Dude, I think they're making each fiber. They put every individual tassel. That's crazy. I would not have made it like this, no lie. I'm gonna have to make my own rectangle, dude. See, it's a rectangle that you threw a texture on, because it doesn't matter that much, it's just a rug. He's not that much of a poser, guys. He does know the bands, but he's also not like a full album listener, so he is a little bit of a poner. Okay. Listen in textures. My problem here is that this wood looks way so skinny. I want it to be not so skinny. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change this texture. I right click and I go to texture and I say position. I like this setup of things. There's another one. If you hit shift, it'll give you this one and then you can move each of these individually. I don't like doing that. I like doing it the other way. So I like it with this. Hit shift again. This tool is for if you want to rotate it. This tool is for if you want to move it. This tool is for if you want to distort it. And this tool is so that if you want to distort it, but like more circularly. I think it looks nice, but now the orange is too much, but it's okay. I can fix it later. It's fine. I am going to change the shelving here though to match the wood of the bed. I don't like this red though. I'm gonna change it to orange because Sam, his color is orange, even if I draw him wearing purple a lot, because he's not wearing purple because that's like his color. It's Feather's color. Feather's is Nemesis. That was so many edit groups. I'm not there yet? You're joking. Okay. No! Please. Okay. Okay, sorry. So, Feathers is Nemesis, right? And her favorite color is purple. And she's like Miss Purple. He likes the color orange. She's Miss Purple. Hold up, let me show you guys her room. She's Miss Purple. Like, she loves the color purple. That's her favorite color ever. He's like, oh, dude, I'm gonna be so annoying. I'm just gonna wear her color. Probably like, oh, and like, what would she care if he's wearing? She's mad. Because like, that's her color. Literally. Like, if there's one thing she loves, it's the color purple. And he's like, dude, what a coincidence. We're twinning. And I am going to make this askew because I don't think he's the type to tuck his chair back in after he leaves his desk. Now let's get him his medications. Basically, his bones are weaker than they should be, and he also has Crohn's disease, and he also has other illnesses that I gave to him because I am evil. Yes, and I'm gonna give him a few for his ailments. I don't think he even takes all of these at a time because I think that there's a couple that he's, you know, trying, but it's a process of finding which one works. And so I think that he might have a few left over that he found weren't working that he has not quite thrown away yet because I sometimes have certain ones that aren't working and I don't throw them away because I'm like, what? I just throw the drugs in the trash? Is that what I'm supposed to do? I actually haven't thrown away any of my medication bottles ever because I'm convinced that I'm going to make a art project out of them or something. My mom wants me to throw them away. She's like, why do you have all of these empty pill bottles? And I'm like, Mom, I need them. I don't do anything with it, but I'm convinced that I will. One day. I am going to make his room, or maybe I could just move his desk over just a little bit. Okay, hold up. Because here's the thing, is like, he's good at the computer. Like, that's what he's majoring in, is computer. And I'm gonna give him a little, like, overdramatic little data tower. This is just a little extra compute for him when he's hacking, sending phishing emails to everyone on the planet, you know, like a real hacker. I'm kind of bad at Windows. No lie. I've been trying to be conscious of windows because, you know, people have those on occasions. And I am going to put them right here because out here, this direction is like their kitchen and living room such. And I'm going to put a door right here because right here is going to be a closet or a bathroom or something. And then through here, this direction, I believe is his roommate's room. Unless I have that switched and the roommate's over here. But either way, should I give him headphones? I'm not done with the windows. I've gotten distracted. He does like listening to music, but maybe that's just something that, like, he would be the type to stand up with his headphones on. Because he's not, like, I don't think he's a gamer, guys, to be honest with you. I know I gave him, like, the gamer desk setup. He's not really a gamer, but, you know, the gamer people, they like to optimize stuff for, I'm not done with the windows, for, like, maximum computational whatever, which is why I gave him the, what is up with this window? Why is it like that? New tool, we are going to use the flip tool. You can either use, like, it'll have these internal planes, you know, like, so this green plane right here is halfway through the window, or I could flip it on the wall. One thing that I do like on Sketchup that I think is fun is trim. Hold up, let me find the trim. I love putting in a trim. I think these are so fun. Maybe what I'm looking for is baseboards. None of these are speaking to me. I do need to give him baseboards. Standard baseboard? Yeah, I can get a standard baseboard. So basically, you're probably like, well, that's not a baseboard. But see, it is a baseboard, because check this out, right? What you do is you go here, you say edit component, and most of the time I just put like a little square and extrude it, but I just remembered this. I'm not liking all of these lines though. It's okay, I'll smooth it out later. But yeah, you just extend it. Now, I am going to go ahead and select all of those lines, and it's going to think about it. We are going to, let me take a look. Soften. Do I need to smooth it? I don't think I need to smooth it. Okay. Baseboards. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, I'm not done with the windows. Guys, this window looks weird. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all, guys. I don't like this window. Hold up. This window looks better. Okay. I am going to trace around the edges and then delete this part of the wall. I'm gonna get a Queen poster for his wall. Because that's his favorite band, dude. That's his favorite band. If there's one thing Sammy loves, it's Queen. Okay, that's the Queen. Well, that's a Queen, I should say. I'm looking for the Queen. Freddie Mercury. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys. Okay, I'm making a poster. I'm gonna show you guys how to do a poster. I like this one. I like this one, guys. So here's what I'm gonna do. I am going to save image as JPEG. Yay, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. If it's web.p, it won't work. Make sure it's a JPEG or a PNG. So here's what we're going to do. I'm gonna need this to be a component or else it's gonna be mean to me. So I'm gonna take this and I am going to turn it into a component. I'm only doing this so that it doesn't get stuck to the wall. Here we go. I've made a nice little canvas. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to take this and I am going to drag it, and it's going to ask me as image, as material. I like to add it as material because images tend to be harder to work with. Only difference, material will repeat, image will not repeat. It'll just be like basically your PNG. But I like to put it in as material because sometimes I like to adjust it, and I like adjusting the material settings more. I don't need to adjust this. Never mind, guys, I'm good. But that's basically it. Yeah, that's how you can import your own textures. There's an option, you can go here, you can import stuff, but then it'll be like upgrade, whatever. But yeah, you can just select this and you can go to downloads, you know, all that sort of stuff. You can import like STLs if you've made like nice little 3D object on a different software. You can import an STL. Just beware, it might look ugly. He's got one poster. He needs more. We're putting up what? We're putting up records, okay? I think it's doing this because it's 2D and it's acting out. POV the gorillas when 2D starts causing problems. Does 2D cause problems? I'm not hip with the gorillas lore. Is 2D causing problems? Gorillas fans, let me know. Yeah, I don't think Radiohead is his jam though, like his jam of all jams, because they're just not campy enough. Like, they make the sad songs, you know, that sort of appeal to people who are down on their luck, which Sam is always. But, you know, he likes a little bit of pizzazz, you know? I think that he would like Prince more than he likes Radiohead. Yeah, I think he loves Prince. I think he loves Queen. Did I mention he loves old music? Like, it makes him feel special. And you know, cause he likes it, but also cause he's like, oh, you know, it's a really old band. You've probably never heard of it. It's, you know, it's called the Beatles. Yeah, you wouldn't get it. But I do think that, like, the 70s, 80s is, like, his era. Although, like, I do see him being into, like, the Britpop era as well. Very 90s. Guys, would you be okay if these are a little bit askew? What if he's bad at hanging up his posters, huh? He's a disaster in all other aspects of his life, huh? What makes you think he can hang up a poster, huh? And they're not posters, okay? They're his album covers. I'm gonna give him a plant. Do I think that he can keep a plant alive? No. No, I do not think that. Do I think that he buys a new one every 2 weeks? Yes. I do think that. The only, like, character that I have that can keep a plant alive is Mark, because he's the only one that can be, like, normal about it, you know? Because, like, Sam, he's got a lot going on, you know? He's in school, he's doing the student thing, he's spending a lot of his free time planning out how he's going to antagonize Feather, you know? He's doing a lot, and he's not doing a lot of watering his plants, and if he is doing a lot of watering his plants, it's because it's a cactus, and then he drowns the poor thing. I think he's the type of guy that thinks that you can make up for forgetting to water your plant by just watering it a bunch. I do think that that would be his mindset. This is too big. I'm not very good at scale. But yeah, I don't think he could keep it alive. I do have one character. His name is Alex. He also has plants in his room, but his plants in his room are fake. They are fake plants, okay? Because do I think he could keep a plant alive? Yes, probably. Very neurotically. Do I think that he would be happy keeping a plant alive? No. No, I don't think that. I think that he would be driven insane by the fact that if you have a plant in your room, there could potentially be bugs in your room. And I don't think he'd be down with that. I don't think that's something he'd be okay with. So he would not keep a plant alive. Zero, I don't think would even try with plants. I don't think that's something that she would ever consider. Yeah. And then Aaliyah, I think honestly, she might have had a phase where she wanted to have a plant, you know, keep something nice. But she also, I think, would forget that it's there, you know, because she'd come home and she'd be like, oh, time to relax, you know, she's scrolling on AO3 or something. And I think that she would forget about her plant for just long enough that it dies, is what I think. His iced caramel latte, he can't see without his iced caramel latte. Yeah, and then what other characters do I have? Oh, Braylon, I love her. Never would I ever give her any plant, ever. I think she would try to care about it, but she's also not the type to, like, look up how you're supposed to take care of a plant. So she's got, like, a plant that grows only in very humid climates, and she's like, I don't know why it keeps dying. I don't know what the deal is. I'm gonna give him some crutches, because I think that sometimes that he should probably use them more, but he doesn't, because he's got some internalized problems that he is projecting onto others instead of working on himself. You know, I say a lot of things that might come across that, like, I don't like Sam, but that's not true. I love Sam. I love him a lot, right? Like, there's a reason he's my secondary main character. Maybe that should be my New Year's resolution, huh? Maybe my New Year's resolution should be trying to be nicer to my characters. Maybe that's a goal that I can work towards. We're gonna jump ahead, because I think, like, the solid next 2 hours of this recording are just me singing Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812. My face already failed because it's sorted by fury. I seize you by the collar with my big hands, and I shake you from side to side until your face shows a sufficient degree of terror. Anyways, guys, so we've got his mirror so that he can check out his outfit whenever he puts on his clothes. We've got the door to the bathroom. We've got another mirror because I think this looks pretty here, and I think he's, you know, okay at decorating. We've got his little extra server for running his tricks We've got the Queen poster here, because he loves Queen. We've got the coffee. We've got the mug. We've got the lime flower water. We've got his supplements and medications. We've got his plant that will be dead in 2 weeks. We've got his crutches that he should be using more. We've got drawers down here. I think he would maybe keep some stuff down here, but also like, and by stuff I mean I think he would keep his clothes down here, but also like trinkets or whatever. And then we've got Bonnie Tyler, Lady Gaga, Purple Rain, Favorite Worst Nightmare, and Sheer Heart Attack. Share! Wagon Wheel Watusi. We've got the rest of his records on here that he sometimes listens to. We've got another coffee. We've got his hamper. And yeah, and then a couple pieces of modern. He needs something right there. Oh, I don't know what to put though. Hold up. Let's get some inspo. Oh, guitar! I never gave him a guitar! He plays the guitar. I forgot about that. He's pretty good at the guitar. He has a guitar collection. This chair is because I think he had maybe like friends over, and then he moved it in there so that they could hang out in his room, and then he never moved it out. I do kind of want to put some posters over here though, no lie. It would be funny if he had a feather poster. Oh, that would be pretty funny. It'd be funny and ironic, but I don't know, guys. I don't know. Purple rain, purple rain. I'm gonna put a couple photos in here. Oh, I should put pictures of Isra and Amir on his wall. Wait, that'd be so awesome. Duh. Shout out Pinterest. I love doing Pinterest redraws. I wish I had a better drawing of Benji, because I think that he'd be a big fan of the house. But I do think that he would also like Crisis, which is why I've got Isra and Amir there. Yes, they're my other OCs. I might make a video about them even, if I'm so inclined. Low-key, I might just leave this doubled. Maybe I'll switch it around a little bit so it's less obvious that I just have 2 rows of the exact same photos. Okay, I think that looks a lot nicer. Yeah, I think that looks a lot nicer. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I think that with that, we are done. Take a screenshot of that. We're gonna get it in Photoshop. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy paste my screenshot in here. Crop out what we don't want. I am gonna leave most of this because that's pretty easy to edit out, and I like the more square ratio than a super long rectangle. Okay. Oh, I didn't give him any light fixtures, whatever. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to duplicate this, and then sometimes I just like to duplicate it twice. You don't have to duplicate it twice, I just like to have a before and after. And I'm grouping my after right now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our top layer, we are going to go to filter and then sharpen, and then unsharp mask. These are the values that I like to keep it at, 255, 5, and threshold 47. You can see the only difference is like these edges will become more saturated. The more saturated your edges, the easier it'll be to make out lines. So it's just up to preference. If you don't like these ones, you can mess with them. Find ones that you do like. Now that we've got that done, what we're going to do is we are going to go to Image, Adjustment, and then Threshold. Basically, this just turns everything into black and white. The sharpen helps it so that it's easier to pick out lines. And then I'm just adjusting the threshold level until I find one that I like, which is going to be pretty far down. Let's see. Might have it right here. Now that I've got that, I can just set this to multiply, and then we are good. But what I am going to do is I am going to go through and select all of these, because the next step, I've got a very, like, a lot more 2D cell shading style, so I like to flatten out, like, all the colors and whatnot, but sometimes with little details like photographs, you'll lose a lot of the details, so I'm selecting all of these so that I can flatten the thing without losing my data. Okay. Now we are going to select and then invert the selection, and everything that isn't what I selected, we are going to filter, pixelate, and then facet. I messed up a little bit here. When you're doing the facet, you're going to want to do it on your color layer, not your line layer. So make sure you're not doing it on the black and white layer, which is what I'm doing here on accident. And ta-da! I'm gonna go through and just draw in, like, the blanket. I like to just make a layer above this and then, you know, And I'm gonna go through and make this nicer, but you just do that. And then, and I'll go through and shade it correctly in a little bit. But yeah, that's basically it. Alright, and here we have the final room. Yes! Let me show you guys before and after. Ta-da! Here we've got our before and after. I changed the walls to pink because my name is Pink. No, it's because I liked the pink, okay? And then I stepped on a little multiply layer and I did a little light there, though I'm not convinced that I like it. Ooh, guys, I'm not convinced that I like it. I did actually... Yeah, don't care. Don't care. Okay, I did end up adding one more. Don't even draw that. Okay, I did end up adding one more poster up here because I finally made an official, like, album cover for The House. This is their album, Not a Home, because they're corny. But yeah, so I added this after finishing drawing this, and I low-key... Get out of here. I don't want to add it in, because I'm feeling lazy, and also it's like 2 in the morning, and I have work tomorrow at like 7. So anyways, I won't be adding that, but yeah, I made The House a little album cover because I think he'd be a big fan of The House, whereas I think that Aaliyah would be a bigger fan of Crisis. But yeah, these are the bands that I was telling you guys about. These guys are brothers, and they're in a band, and they, like, argue. Are you guys hooked yet? Are you guys like, wow, tell me more yet? But yeah, and then these guys are, like, annoying. Are you sold? How's my pitch? What do you guys think? Oh, who even cares?